dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Madison Carmouche. Hager Hill Free Will Baptist Church is playing host to a new mission, all about making space in the sanctuary for everyone. WYMT's Buddy Forbes attended a service today with Forbid Them Not Ministries to see what the mission truly means.
Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me.
Forbid Them Not Ministries is celebrating every joyful noise, from singing to stimming.
If they get loud, pastor just gets louder.
God sealed the lion's mouth shut.
You know, they don't think nothing of it. They welcome us.
The church service was planted to help people of all abilities feel welcome to worship.
We have different behaviors, but, we endure that. We work together.
Something many families who have a member with autism, sensory challenges, or other neurodiversities have not felt able to do in years.
We've had churches that pretty much ask us to leave.
Chris Kreider knows all about that feeling since his two older children are on the autism spectrum. So he founded the ministry to turn the isolation into inclusion.
And they don't want to bother people, don't want to be a distraction, but they need to hear about Jesus as much as anybody else.
Working with his wife Courtney to cater worship and classes to unique learning styles and needs.
She works hard for kids in general, especially for the special needs community. She's a rock star when it comes to that.
Letting God use them.
It's a blessing, and I'm thankful just to help people and be able to give them a little encouragement. And a lot of times it's just what people need is a judge-free zone.
To make sure there's a place and a pew for every person. In Johnson County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
As the ministry gets off the ground, it is welcoming all attendees and is searching for donations of supplies and money to see the mission do more. Find out how you can get involved over on our website.
Forecast tonight not looking too bad in some areas, but we're still dealing with those forest fires across parts of the region. We're seeing some of that smoke, maybe a little bit of a touch of fog downtown Hazard. Well, that's actually outside of the WYMT studios tonight, but you see there a little bit of haze out there. Now let's go downtown to Triangle Park. Now earlier I did notice, and Steve Hensley had sent me a picture back over just to the kind of the left of that bridge there was a forest fire that was burning over that way. So again, very smoky downtown there. So be aware of that, and not a whole lot in the way of rain in the next couple of days. Temperatures out there, we are looking at 30s, 40s, and 50s from about 39 in Manchester and Jonesville, all the way up to 52 in Jackson and Pikeville, also 38. Just now notice that in Irvine. The next few hours, we're going to drop into the 40s and 30s as we head deeper into the nighttime hours. Some clouds trying to drift in, but nothing too major. Now, dry conditions will continue, unfortunately, as we head to the next several days. Spotty chances for rain are possible on Tuesday, Election Day. Not great chances, though. Our best chances for rain come with a cold front later this week. I'll tell you more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Madison.
Brandon, thank you. Fire officials across the region have had a busy weekend. There have been several reports of forest fires with crews working to put them out for more than 48 hours in Bell, Harlan, and Perry counties. Sunshine Volunteer Fire Chief Stephen Hatfield says it is important to burn safely and responsibly during the burning hours of 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Try to keep a water hose, keep a rake. Don't leave it unattended. Stay with the fire until it's completely extinguished and there's no visible embers, because the wind can pick up and blow an ember up, maybe 100 feet and start a fire, even though you weren't close to anything.
Hatfield says it is also important to report any fires and to not assume someone has already called. You can do so by calling 911, your county's emergency management or sheriff's department. Harlan County Judge Executive Dan Mosley has declared a state of emergency for Harlan County following the numerous forest fires in the county. Mosley says that many of their firefighters are volunteers and may need to return to their primary jobs Monday. He adds that he knows they have been working tirelessly to protect the community and their property, so he hopes the state of emergency will get them some much-needed relief.
The need for backup support is greatly necessary, as well as Division of Forestry. Division of Forestry in our 10 county service area has multiple forest fires as well, and their need, their folks are getting tired as well. So it's my hope that the state of emergency declaration will open us up to some help from some other agencies.
You may also report illegal open burning while the burn ban is in effect to the Harlan County Sheriff's Department at 606-573-1313 or Emergency Management at 606-573-6082. Brooks Houck's lawyers are trying yet again to get a new judge to oversee his upcoming murder trial. Houck is charged with murder and tampering with evidence in the death of his girlfriend and mother of his child, Crystal Rogers, who was last seen in 2015. Police believe she's dead even though her body has not been found. Houck's lawyer filed a new motion requesting Judge Charles Sims to disqualify himself from the case. They are claiming the judge has shown bias against Houck in court for several years. Judge Sims has 2 weeks to respond. Houck's lawyers asked the Kentucky Supreme Court to take Sims off the case, but justices said Sims had to be served the motion first. There's a new Kentuckian of the Year. Louisville Metro Police Officer Nick Wilt. Governor Andy Beshear presented the award last night at the Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Awards in Louisville. It comes as Officer Wilt continues to recover from being shot in the head while responding to the April Old National Bank mass shooting.
We lost some really amazing people, some amazing friends. Others are still here with us because of LMPD Officer Nick Wilt.
Officer Wilt's brother accepted the award in his place. As the weather gets colder across the Commonwealth, many central Kentucky students may not have the things they need to stay warm. But one local educational group is putting their mittens to work. The Kentucky Educational Development Cooperation in Lexington is dedicated to serving the teachers and students of more than 78 public school districts.
You hear of a lot of coat drives, but you don't hear of winter gloves. And so we wanted to do something unique. And if there's a snow day and school's called off, what about these kids that want to go out and play in that snow? I know what it feels like to touch that icy snow, so it's cold. And we want to protect them and keep them safe and keep them warm.
Kersey says people can also drop off glove donations of any size to KEDC's office in Lexington at 118 James Court Suite 60. The Kindness Project will be going until the end of November. Over the past few weeks, we've been breaking down the races that you will see on the ballot when you cast your vote. But with so many races, it can be hard to keep track of it all. So we're here to break it all down for you, starting with the top of the ticket with Democratic incumbent Andy Beshear and Republican challenger Daniel Cameron.
When you're a good job for all the people, then each person will give you a second look regardless of your party.
We feel very good about where we are and that we're going to win on November 7th.
In the race for Secretary of State, Republican Michael Adams hopes to serve a second term, while Democratic challenger Buddy Wheatley is running to expand early voting and increase voter participation.
Low voter turnout is a big reason I'm running. We really do need to focus on this in Kentucky.
That's about ensuring that we keep early voting, that we keep facilitated absentee voting, things that we've implemented to make sure it's easy to vote but still hard to cheat.
Daniel Cameron's run for governor leaves the Attorney General position open, with Republican candidate and Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Kentucky, Russell Coleman, facing off against former U.S. Air Force JAG Attorney Colonel Pamela Stevenson for the role.
You need an Attorney General working with a governor with a sense of urgency to push back on that violence.
My job
is to make sure, as the people's lawyer, that we make sure we're for the people, by the people, to serve the people.
Republican Allison Ball, who has hit her term limit as state treasurer, is now running for auditor, a job that entails examining the state's financial transactions. Ball will face tax attorney and Democratic challenger Kim Reeder.
This is an area that we need to keep an eye on. We need to make sure processes are correct, that money is being transferred the way it's supposed to.
I'm very committed to serving Kentuckians, as I've shown with my teaching background.
Kentucky's treasurer plays a vital role in managing the state's debt and other financial dealings. Democrat Michael Bowman lost the race for treasurer in 2019. This time he will face off against Garrett County attorney and Republican candidate Mark Metcalf.
I have the skills, the background, and the qualifications to be treasurer.
Electing me means that you will have a treasurer that's looking for ways to save money as opposed to spend money.
And finally, former Republican House Majority Floor Leader Jonathan Schell will face off against Democratic challenger and economic development consultant Sierra Enlow for the job of Agriculture Commissioner.
I fight for three things. I fight for my family, I fight for my farm, and I fight for conservative values.
I saw how much advocacy Kentucky farmers really needed, and that they needed this professionality in the conversation.
Today, incumbent Democratic candidate for Governor Andy Beshear visited with voters in Newport in northern Kentucky. Tomorrow, he will make stops in Pikeville, Prestonsburg, Moorhead, Lexington, and finally Louisville. Republican candidate for governor, Attorney General Daniel Cameron, wrapped up his bus tour yesterday, making stops in western Kentucky and Louisville. Tomorrow, he will travel to Fort Wright, Lexington, Louisville, Bowling Green, and wrap up in his hometown of Elizabethtown. Coming up at 11, Congress continues working to avoid a government shutdown as the temporary fix put in place expires on November 17th.
And the forecast continues to stay a little bit on the drier side, which is not good for those forest fires. I'll have the next best chance for rain coming up in just a few minutes.